welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and thank you for tuning in. Before I get things started, I'd like to send a big shout out to Magnolia Manor in Humboldt, Tennessee. They hosted a singer-songwriter event this weekend. That's the winners will go on to basically it's like a go on to like a quarterfinal, then a semifinal type thing, different regions throughout Tennessee. And the winners will eventually go on to play at the Bluebird Cafe, which is a real big deal for a singer-songwriter. So I hadn't originally intended to compete in it. I had told one of the owners I would stop in and check it out. I'm still suffering from a sinus infection that was brought on by COVID, unfortunately. So as you can tell, I'm like really out of breath right now because it's difficult for me to breathe right now still. But yeah, so I figured I'd go check it out after work. I came in and sat down and I was watching it, and I figured I'd go talk to the owners and check everything out, and they convinced me to try to compete, and I did. So they had like 9 contestants that just didn't show up or called in, which was, to me, is incredible. I mean, to get a chance and an opportunity to play at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville is a really good opportunity, I think, and something that's on my bucket list of things to do, and I really want to do. So I really appreciate them giving me the opportunity to try to do that. Unfortunately, I didn't make it through, but I did try my best, despite sounding like this, unfortunately, but it was really great to have the opportunity to do so, and I'm extremely grateful for them allowing me to try out and do that, because that was really great. One of the judges, I guess the main judge there, was Joseph Wooten, who's Victor Wooten's brother. I don't know if how many people are familiar with Victor Wooten from Bell Fleck and the Flecktones. Amazing musician, and his brother Joseph is no slouch himself. He's the pianist / keyboardist for the Steve Miller Band. So it was great to be around some awesome talent, and the contestants that were there were amazing. So kudos to the winners of that, and to everyone that tried out there. That was pretty cool. But yeah, check out Magnolia Manor in Humboldt, Tennessee. Their address is 1424 East Main Street in Humboldt, Tennessee. And thanks, big shout out to Josh, one of the contestants, who let me borrow his guitar. Because, like I said, I showed up after work. I was in my work clothing. Just figured I'd watch and listen to some great singer-songwriters, and ended up singing a song myself. So once again, thank you so much for that opportunity, and it was a lot of fun, and I wish I could have been in better shape to do it. But when those opportunities come around, you gotta take them. It's a yearly competition they have, and like I said, one day I very much want to play the Bluebird Cafe, so it was great to have the opportunity to try to do so. And if you're in Tennessee, they're having these competitions dispersed throughout Tennessee, so it's really cool. If you're anywhere near one of the venues that is hosting one of these competitions, check it out. You'll see some great competition, some great singer-songwriters. Not a lot going on in wrestling right now, to be honest with you. As far as football, obviously we got the Super Bowl next weekend. If you told me it would be Bengals versus Rams at the beginning of the year, I would have told you that you were absolutely insane, but it's going to be the Bengals and the Rams. So, if I'm kind of hoping the Bengals win, because if you're going to lose to somebody, you might as well lose to the best. So I'm kind of hoping that the Bengals win, even though I can't stand Burrow. The guy just comes off as such a punk, but obviously my Raiders lost to them, so I'll hope they win. Just like I said, if you're gonna lose to anybody, I'd like it to be to the best. And looks like the Packers have picked up Rich Bisaccia, was the interim coach who with the Raiders. So, good luck to him. It looks like he's going to be their special teams coordinator. Man, I wish somebody would give him an opportunity as a head coach, though, because after what he did with the Raiders, he definitely deserves it. I'm still not sold on the new regime coming in, but time will tell. I'm willing to give them a chance. I'm willing to be open-minded about it, and hopefully they prove themselves to be good. A lot of them are coming out of that. A lot of them are coming out of the Patriots organization, and Josh McDaniels. I mean, I can't say I'm overly impressed with his previous tenure as a head coach. Really didn't do a whole heck of a lot, and really didn't prove a lot. But hopefully, he's grown since then. The man knows offense. And they're already saying that Hunter Renfrow is his kind of prototypical receiver. So I think he'll fit well in the scheme of things. But I mean, they brought over Brady's old quarterback coach from the Patriots. So they're bringing over a lot of talent from the Patriots, and they just picked up the defensive coordinator from the Giants. So we'll see. I really liked the I really liked what Gus Bradley had done with the with the defense with the Raiders. I think he really turned the defense around. Did a great job, but we'll see. Hopefully this can carry over and carry some momentum into next year. I know the players are really disappointed because a lot of them had a vested interest in seeing Bisaccia retain his head coach position, but hey, business is business, and time marches on. So I'm willing to give McDaniels a chance. I won't hold it against them, But we'll see. I know Mark Davis in the press conference made that little joke about the tuck rule. Apparently, McDaniels came up to him and said it was a fumble. So already the guy, at least he's trying his best to endear himself to the Raiders fans. So God bless him. I hope he does a great job, and I hope we return to the playoffs this year because, man, like I said, getting that close. And if Cincinnati wins the Super Bowl, that's a hard pill to swallow, That really is, because we were inches away from really beating them. Had some great opportunities to beat Cincinnati. So best of luck to the new regime coming into the Raiders, and we'll definitely see what happens. Onward to AEW though, Rampage. Got to see Moxley in his match, which was supposed to be against Brian Kendrick. AEW just signed Brian Kendrick when some old comments had resurfaced. If I'm not mistaken, or some anti-Semitic comments that Kendrick had made a number of years ago, and Tony Khan promptly pulled the plug on that match. So Kendrick wasn't in that match, but I'm more interested in what happened after the match, because the whole situation between Moxley and Bryan Danielson being possibly allies. Bryan, great promo. Really tense, great moment. This whole show was pretty good. AEW's been doing really well with Dynamite. Rampage not so much, but Dynamite's been excellent. But yeah, some of the things that Bryan Danielson said kind of were a shoot. You can tell he felt that way about a lot of the newer wrestlers, and Danielson doing a great job as always. And it'll be interesting to see if they align with each other, I should say, because that could be a really interesting combination within AEW. Dynamics of that, but we'll see where that goes. I mean, once again, this was in Chicago, and that Chicago crowd was really hot, as they always are. What a great wrestling fans in Chicago, man. They really put their all into it. And from what I understand, the place wasn't even like half full because of the snowstorm going on. So to hear the reaction of the crowd with a smaller crowd, that was great. The one thing about this show that really did puzzle me and kind of befuddle me was the whole Brandy and Adam Lambert exchange. Does anybody know where this thing is going? I mean, are they trying to make Adam Lambert into a babyface and trying to make Brandy and Cody into heels? Because that's where this kind of feels like it's going, but then it doesn't make sense because now Adam Lambert's association with the murder hawk Lance Archer. So it's like, because obviously Hangman Page is a babyface, and when you put Lance Archer in the mix, the way he's acting, it paints him as the heel in that situation. So now you have association with Adam Lambert and Jake the Snake and their whole association, which appears to be a heel. And then you put that into a segment with Brandy. It's really confusing. If somebody can clear that up in the comments for me, please tell me where they're going with this booking. It's almost as if different people are booking different segments, but they're including overlapping individuals within them. So I'm really puzzled by booking with this, but I've been puzzled by all of the Rhodes bookings so far. I mean, the only one who doesn't puzzle me is Dustin. He's just an absolute babyface that's over, but which I kind of think they're underutilizing him, but I wonder if they're just using him for training purposes for a lot of people and kind of putting some people over. I don't know, but the whole Brandy and Cody thing, man, they need to turn them heel. But then you're going to have heel versus heel with this whole thing, because now, within that Brandy and Adam Lambert segment, Paige Van Zandt comes out and attacks Brandy. So, once again, I'm terribly confused as what they're trying to do here. I mean, it's interesting. I'll give them that. It's entertaining. I'll give them that. So maybe they want these people not to be a clear-cut heel or babyface, or just tweeners. I don't know. I mean, I just hope there's a payoff to this, because it's kind of maddening to watch it. And of course, I have to mention this show, man. The Punk versus MJF. What a great match in Chicago, and to see Punk get his first loss against MJF, and to see in Chicago, man. I mean, I'm glad that they did it that way, and I'm glad that MJF cheated to get the win, because it still sets up a rematch down the road, and I hope they continue this feud to a pay-per-view, because this deserves a pay-per-view. I hope they continue this, because it's a great old school, just great psychology, great segments, just great wrestling. They all across the board, just really good. MJF is one of the stars of the future, and Punk is still a bona fide star, and I'm just glad that, like I said, MJF was a total heel during this and used the heel methods to quote unquote win, But they did tease a little turn from Wardlow, but he ended up giving MJF the ring, so he used that for an object to beat Punk. Good psychology. Overall, I really enjoyed the match. Some great psychology in there. It wasn't a spot fest. It was just an old school, well thought out, well choreographed, match. And AEW needs to be doing more of that type of thing. Developing storylines and thinking things through and thoroughly, and this aside from the Brandy and Adam Lambert segment, this was a really good, well thought out show. So kudos to them. That's pretty much all I got to say about Dynamite on that, and in Rampage, I won't even bother go in to what, Rampage, because there wasn't anything that really stood out to me on the show, to tell you the truth. I hate to say that, but Rampage has been kind of lackluster lately, and the ratings are really showing it. just the ratings overall, unfortunately, for AEW are showing it. And I think it's because of lack of storytelling and the just the hitting hot spots and giving matches away. I think they're not milking out feuds long enough, and I don't think they're carrying out storylines long enough. I really don't. I'm hoping that they align Moxley and Bryan Danielson, because I think that would be a great thing to kind of put up against a new talent, bring them over, bring them up and put them over. I think that would work out great, So I'm hoping they pursue that. Like I said, Rampage, nothing really stood out on there. Looks like on the independent circuit, Leo Rush was injured. His left shoulder is dislocated. I hate to see any wrestler injured like that, but guy is a fantastic wrestler. Just, I think he has some mental illness issues to confront. I mean, obviously he had his little stint in AEW, which was kind of lackluster, which is unfortunate because the guy, well, like I said, he's a great wrestler. He's a little undersized, but I'm beginning to think that this guy is the Antonio Brown of wrestlers. He just comes out with reactionary statements that really aren't that professional a lot of times. And man, I feel badly, but because the guy is insanely talented, but he just seems to keep shooting himself in the foot at every turn. I hope he gets better. I hope he gets what he needs. But man, I don't think you're going to be seeing him on any major promotion anytime soon. In other news, Keith Lee and Mia Yim got married. Congratulations to them. That's awesome news. Hopefully those guys are doing well. There's a lot of speculation about Keith Lee going to AEW. I think he'd be a great fit there. I just hope they bring him in correctly and don't screw it up, But yeah, I'm really hoping them the best, because I really was a Keith Lee fan. I would love to see him and Killer Kross in AEW, but that roster's getting mighty full, and with their booking issues, it kind of scares me a little, but hopefully I can figure things out. Yeah, another thing in the news, fresh off the Royal Rumble, was the dismissal of Shane McMahon. I'm not even sure what to think about this, because first of all, was he really dismissed? I mean, he wasn't really technically had a position any weight at WWE, so what was his position to begin with? And is this a kayfabe dismissal? I don't know. I mean, there's supposedly a lot of heat reported on him because of the backstage booking for the Royal Rumble. And the Royal Rumble, the men's match, the booking of it was pretty much a mess. So I can't really fault people for finding fault with that, but was it a mess because of Shane McMahon, or was it a mess in spite of him? Because I'd like to know more details on the situation before I make a judgment on that, because Shane's had some good ideas. To dismiss him over that, I mean, if he booked himself in the match over Corey Graves, which is the seems to be a prevailing train of thought, seems to be a prevailing gossip, then I can see some fault with that, because Royal Rumble is always a place where you like to see returning stars, and Corey Graves would have been an interesting star. Not that he was great, but to see him back in the ring again would have been a nice thing, because obviously he's relevant because of his announcing gig, and people know who he is. So if he put himself in place of Corey Graves, and that is an issue. I don't like that. Because there are a lot of other wrestlers on that bill within that match that he could have easily taken out. There were a lot of mid-carders that did not belong in that Rumble. So if he took Corey Graves out, then yeah, I understand a little bit of heat. I would be angry too. But you also look at this, you compare Shane McMahon's level of stardom to a lot of the other wrestlers that were involved in that match, and Shane McMahon is still much more of a star than any of those people in that match. So, I mean, you've got some of these individuals that are just coming up that didn't belong in that match, you know. I mean, you had some people in there, you know, the AJ Styles, the Omos, but, you know, I think Orton was booked in there. I can't even remember right now. I'm losing my train of thought, but you had some bona fide stars in there, but you also had a lot of people that really need some more development and really shouldn't have been in that match and kind of made it a mess from what I understand. So until the details about the whole Shane McMahon thing comes out, I'm going to reserve judgment on that because I like Shane McMahon. I think he's a valuable asset, but there's been a lot of speculation about him going to AEW. Where is this coming from? Is there any substantial proof to this at all? Because it sounds like a joke to me. Shane McMahon, I can't see him fitting within AEW. I really can't. His school of thought, his mentality is very opposite of what Tony Khan's is. I mean, and plus the fact that you've got two alpha males there that I can't see them coexisting in an organization the way they would have to coexist to make it work. I mean, first of all, what would be the incentive for Shane McMahon to come to AEW? Unless Tony Khan handed him the keys to the company and said, run with it. I mean, that's the only incentive I could possibly see for Shane McMahon ever going to AEW. Because other than that, what role would he serve? What purpose would he serve? I don't see him wanting to be an on-air personality and being just that. I'm not putting him down, but Shane McMahon's ego wouldn't allow that. And that's not a bad thing. Like I said, he's an alpha male. He's a type A. He needs to be in charge. He needs to be running the show. He needs to be doing things. He's a McMahon. And if you put him under the thumb of Tony Khan, that just sets up for disaster. I don't see that happen. And then you look at some of the individuals that are already within the organization. I mean, what would you do with some of the individuals like, you know, Cody's status within the company, you know, the Young Bucks, you know, some of those individuals like that. QT Marshall is another example. What would you do with them? You know, would there be constant conflict with McMahon? Because I see that being potential disaster down the road. I don't see that working out. So I think that's just some fanboys dreaming out loud, but because I don't see it working. You know, and Tony Khan has already made some stumbling mistakes that I can see here, you know, like the Big Swole incident, the incident with Leo Rush, the whole now with Brian Kendrick, you know, he's making some mistakes, you know, and he's proven himself not to be a good public figurehead in some ways sometimes because he's inexperienced at this, even though he's been running businesses for a long time. But in this particular situation, could Shane McMahon come in and help out immensely with that? Absolutely. Would Tony Khan give him the power that he would need? Absolutely not. So would it be helpful to AEW? Maybe, if they allowed him to do what he would need to do. Would it work? I don't see any way it would work because there's just too many conflicting philosophies and ideologies on how they would want to run the company, and I don't see any way that would work. But I've been wrong before. But yeah, I think that's just some fanboy booking coming down the road, and I don't see Shane doing that. And there's a lot of people wanting Shane to start his own promotion, and Shane's a businessman. What would he gain from that? He'd have to build it from the ground up, and there's not as much talent in the pool right now in the free agent pool that he would need to build that up with. So I don't think as a business person he would go down that road. He would probably go with an already established company if they handed him the keys to the company and said, run with it. But otherwise I don't see him going into or fitting into any other situation, Like I said, he's a McMahon. He's he's fits the old school alpha male personality type, and I don't see him fitting in anywhere. I just don't. Even like in NWA, Billy Corgan isn't going to give him the power he needs. And he doesn't have the money to pay him. As a business person, McMahon isn't going to make a stupid business decision. So if he's losing money, why would he do it? So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does. I wouldn't be shocked if he started his own company that was outside of the wrestling industry. That would not shock me at all. He's done it in the past and he's been very successful at it. So why wouldn't he do that? And he's got the capital to do it with, so why not? But other than that, like I said, it's been kind of a slow week in wrestling, so there's not a whole lot else going on. I didn't get to see the championship match, unfortunately, with NWA title. I want to see that, but I did watch Memphis Championship Wrestling, which now they're starting to show them on WBBJ, which is a local affiliate from Jackson here. So I can, if you're in the Western Tennessee area and you can't get CW30, that's a really cool thing. So now we can watch it on Saturday nights at 11. But I've been watching everything on their YouTube channel anyway, because they put up their episodes on YouTube anyway. So that's what I've been doing basically. I did see one thing this week kind of caught me off guard, and I thought was kind of hilarious. There was a match between Austin Lane and Kay Toomer, which it was a hardcore match, so they're bringing out all sorts of different weapons to use within the match. And one of the things that Austin Lane brought out, which I really like this guy. He's a good promo. He's pretty solid in the ring. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Road Dogg, the way he speaks, and maybe it's the whole Memphis thing, but he brought out a door from underneath the ring that had forbidden written on it. So he brought out the forbidden door within a match, which was kind of absolutely hilarious, I thought. But other than that, the show was as entertaining as usual, and it was good to see that. But I'm hoping to catch a lot more of the local wrestling going on. I've been watching some of Ricky Morton's school too going on, which he's a little more Eastern Tennessee, but there's some good stuff going on there too, which I find his show pretty entertaining. But I'd like to start covering a lot more of that in the future too. Maybe expand the show a little bit, hopefully. But other than that, that's about all I have to talk about. I'd like to give some shout outs, as always, Then and Now Flea Market, downtown Trenton, Tennessee. You can go down there, you can purchase one of my CDs, and you can purchase a whole bunch of handcrafted items from my wife, and you can purchase a whole bunch of other items from other vendors. So in addition to that, you can buy some used items, you can buy some new items, you can buy some handmade items, buy a whole lot of stuff from a whole bunch of different vendors. And a little while ago, they actually expanded to utilize more of the building, so they've got even more vendors packing that place. So check them out, downtown Trenton, Then and Now Flea Market. And also Lucky Lady candles. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. It's coming up very, very soon, so get your orders in quickly. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. Lucky Lady Candles got some good stuff, and candles are a perfect gift for Valentine's Day. So check them out, and check us out too online. Go to crushingkayfabe.com, crushing with a K, and you can go check out all of our podcasts from there. There's a link there for our podcast. There's a link there for our other forms of multimedia, or I should say social media, our Instagram page, our Facebook page. You can find out where, if we got anything else going on, got a blog on there. So So check us out on crushingkayfabe.com, crushing with a K, and you can even purchase some items. So if you want to help support the cause and purchase some Crushing Kayfabe memorabilia, you can purchase it from there. There's a link for our online store, our Cafe Press store, and you can get some clothing, some various items from there, and help keep the lights on. Talking about keep the lights on, that brings us to Patreon.com. Patreon.com, I believe it's / Crushing Kayfabe. If not, just do a search for Crushing Kayfabe. You'll find us right there. And for only $1 a month, you can get all of our audio feeds ad-free. So if you don't want to listen to the ads on Spotify or on Google or whatnot, just go to Patreon.com, and for just $1 a month, you can listen to all the audio ad-free. And you can listen, it's all archived on there. You can listen to anything you want. So just go to Patreon.com and become a patron of the show, Crushing Kayfabe. All right, so that's about all I have for today's show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much. Once again, go check out Magnolia Manor in Humboldt, Tennessee. And God bless everybody. Be safe out there, and thank you.